Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. I hope you're doing well today. So, I am in the middle of cleaning last night's dinner dishes. And normally I don't film while cleaning dinner dishes, but I thought maybe we'd just have a little chat about, the unexpected or just rolling with the punches. Because this morning I got up to edit a YouTube video. I was going to drink my tea, edit a YouTube video, and then I had this thought, and I checked my footage, and I never turned my microphone on yesterday when I was filming. And so I filmed an entire video with no sound. And that's one thing if you do it on purpose, like when I made tomato soup and I could barely talk. And so you didn't have me standing here talking to you, but no sound. But yeah, that video is not going to go up. I'll just have to refilm it because I do want to share that recipe with you. It's my favorite beef and broccoli recipe. It's so good. I searched for so long to find a recipe I really liked, and we eat it pretty regularly now because it's just so fast. It takes about 20 minutes to throw together. I couldn't even go get Chinese food that fast if I could eat it, which I can't eat takeout Chinese food anyway, but yeah. So, bummer, right? But that's life. Sometimes that stuff happens. So, I'm going to scrub these dishes up from that dinner. And then today, I was already planning on making a nice breakfast hash. Lots of veggies and roast it up in the oven so we could have it for multiple days and not have to think about breakfast. So I thought we could do that instead. I'm going to finish these dishes. I'm going to fix my tea, and then we'll get to breakfast hash. All right, you guys, the dishes are cleaned up. I've got some veggies here ready. My tea is ready, and it's time to chop up some veggies. So I would say that I view this more as like a guideline. Breakfast hashes are not that uncommon. You'll see people make them all the time. And so today I am doing Brussels sprouts, onion, and sweet potato. I'm just cutting my Brussels sprouts into quarters because I do want them to be a nice small hash size and will match the size of our onion pieces and our sweet potato as well. So this is really versatile. You could use regular potatoes if you wanted. You could use carrots. What else? Any vegetable that you could throw in a hash, you could throw in here. This is what I have on hand, and so it's what I'm using. But also, I'm going to add a few pieces of bacon to it just to add to that smoky flavor. And then we'll cook up some eggs to put on top. But if you wanted it for, say, dinner or lunch, you could leave the bacon out, or you could leave the bacon in if you wanted. And, like in the last 10 minutes, throw a couple of smoked sausages onto the sheet pan with the veggies in the oven and let them get cooked and warmed through, because smoked sausages are normally fully cooked. And you'd have a dinner instead of a breakfast. So versatile. I like that about this kind of meal. I'm choosing to put my food in a bowl here instead of just straight onto my baking sheet. You could toss it on your baking sheet if you want. I have a tendency to fling things off of my baking sheet, and then I end up with a greasy spot I have to clean up somewhere because I toss it with a little bit of oil and some seasonings. So I'm trying to mitigate the mess that I'm going to have to clean up. But you can absolutely just do it on your baking sheet. I'm going to finish getting these Brussels sprouts chopped up, and then we'll move on to the other ingredients. Just gonna chop our onion up into small bites as well, similar in size to our Brussels sprout pieces. Try and help everything cook nice and evenly. The last vegetable I need to prep for this hash is a sweet potato. So this is, as you guys can see, one of my homegrown sweet potatoes. It's still covered in dirt. It's nice and cured. They've been on my back porch for months at this point. So I need to scrub this guy up really good. But I wanted you guys to see, I just store them with the dirt on them. Get my veggie scrubber out here and scrub it really well. All nice and clean. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, it's a tan-skinned, white-fleshed, some of the skin came off while I was scrubbing it, white-fleshed sweet potato. I really love these. I started eating these when I started having problems with potatoes because they're a little bit less sweet than a orange sweet potato. And so we would make mashed, like savory mashed potatoes with them and things that we couldn't use regular potatoes for. Now I figured out I can eat yellow potatoes. I've been experimenting with them for probably 6 to 8 months now, and they do really well for me. So now these get to be more of a treat instead of an everyday need them as a replacement kind of food. Okay, so I am going to cut these into rounds because these sweet potatoes do get pretty dense. And here you have a really good look at that creamy flesh and the tan skin. And then I'm just going to chop this guy up into bite-sized chunks as well. These sweet potatoes actually, I got them at a place called Sprouts Farmers Market. They don't have those everywhere, but they were like a special sweet potato. They cost quite a bit of money compared to regular sweet potatoes, which I did not love. And so my second gardening year, I had one of them here in the house in like January, and it started sprouting. And so I learned how to do sweet potato slips. And all of my white sweet potatoes ever since, so that would have been like 2020, have all been slips that have grown courtesy of that original sweet potato back in 2020. I used to grow both white and just regular old Beauregard sweet potatoes, which are a really classic orange fleshed one, but I can buy the regular sweet potatoes really reasonably at the grocery store. So I put my focus into the one that costs more. The longer these potatoes sit, the denser they become, and it can take a little bit of oomph to get them chopped up. I got all my veggies in my bowl. I'm going to get my cutting board cleaned up, and then we're going to season these up. We're going to drizzle just a little bit of oil on here. I don't want too much because we are going to add some bacon to this once we get it on our tray. And it will render its fat out once we have it in the oven and it starts baking. So I'm going to add some smoked paprika, maybe half a teaspoon here. You guys know me. I'm an eyeballer. Some pepper. Some granulated garlic powder. And some salt. I would normally just get in here with my hands and toss this all together, but my hand eczema is really flared up currently because it's been so cold and that salt would not feel good. I do think it maybe needs just a little bit more oil on it. Trying to find the fine line of just enough, but not too much. Knowing that that bacon grease is gonna come into the mix as well. So this is ready to go on a baking sheet. So we're just gonna dump our bowl of veggies out here onto this baking sheet. See what I mean about throwing stuff around? Get it nice and spread out here. This is a really big batch, and this tray is really full. So I'm a little bit worried about steaming. And so I think I'm gonna bump my oven up to 425. And while that is preheating that extra 25 degrees, I am gonna add some bacon to our tray. This is more to add flavor than anything. So I'm only gonna do about 4 pieces of bacon on this whole tray. Okay. And I like to just use my scissors and cut it up into small pieces. So I will cut that up and come back through and separate all of these pieces. You guys will have to tell me. I have some pork belly in my freezer. We got half of a pig last year and they said half a pig. I think it works differently here in Alabama than I hear other people talk about it. I have not found where you get to pick your own cuts here when you order half a pig. And they just give you weight-wise the amount that is the equivalent of half of the pig. So when we picked our pig up, they hadn't gotten all of the cuts back from the butcher yet. And we ended up with quite a bit of pork belly. And I tried some like burnt end style pork belly. We were not fans. And so I need to try and make bacon. I'm very nervous about it. We do have a smoker, and so we would smoke the bacon, but are you guys interested in that? Because I will definitely be a complete novice. I've never cured meat before. So maybe you guys might be interested in coming along for the learning. I don't know. So let me know what you think, because that's something I need to do here really soon. If you're one of those people who likes bacon soft, you could skip this step. I like my bacon crunchy, and I have learned that when it's still stuck together, it does not get crunchy in the oven. So a little bit tedious, but I take the time to do this where I separate it all out. The last piece that needs to be separated here, and then I'm going to get my hands washed and we're going to get this in the oven. So I'm going to bake this for about 20 minutes and then pull it out, give it a stir, and bake it for about 20 more. Our hash is done cooking. Our Brussels sprouts are nice and round and crunchy. Everything just looks really fantastic. So now I'm going to cook up some eggs that we can have on top of this. So maybe it sounds a little funny when I say this, but I sort of think eggs are one of those things that it's just really personal how you like your eggs cooked. You see so many people say this is the perfect way to cook an egg, but it's all about preference, right? How you personally like your egg. So in our house, we really like medium eggs when we're doing fried eggs. Like our whites nice and cooked, but we want that yolk nice and runny. And if you like a medium egg, you like a runny yolk, I really enjoy the yolk running down into my hash. So this is a great place to use a medium egg. And I did just sort of realize I'm saying a medium egg. I mean cooked over medium, not a medium-sized egg, because that is a thing, but over medium is what I'm referring to. So I'm just adding a little bit of salt to that. Gonna add a little bit of pepper. And while these are cooking, I'm gonna dish up some of our hash into our bowls. This looks so good. I think we're gonna really enjoy having a nice hot breakfast. It's been so cold here. Give these a flip. We'll let those finish cooking. And here in no time, our breakfast is going to be ready. Our eggs are done, and so I'm going to scoop out a couple of eggs onto this hash, and we'll give it a try. So I did want to show you guys what I was talking about here. Let me see, I'm going to angle this down for a minute. So I like when you can break into that egg and have your yolk run out onto your hash. It's so good. Now let's give it a try. Get some onion, Brussels sprouts, all the good stuff in here. So good. It's a nice way to start the day for sure. And you could make up just a tray like this. You could make a couple of trays like this, and it will last for several days. At least if you only have 2 people in your house like I do. If you have a big family, you would probably eat through this. But it's a great way to start the day. Like I said, you can add different vegetables in. You could do ham or breakfast sausage instead of the bacon. You can also add in, the cured sausage and use it for a dinner or lunch. So versatile, delicious. I hope you guys will give it a try. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'm really grateful that you are here. I will see you next time. Bye.